Overthinking is not a sign of wisdom. It's a sign of fear wearing a clever mask. Epictetus understood this better than anyone, because his life gave him every reason to obsess. Born into slavery in 55 AD, he owned nothing. Not his clothes, not his body, not even his next breath. His master could have him beaten, starved, or killed on a whim. And yet, this man found peace. Not because his life got easier, it didn't, but because he realized something most people never discover. Your thoughts are not your master. You are. That sounds simple, but think about it. When was the last time you told your mind no? When was the last time you cut a thought off mid-sentence and refused to feed it? You don't, because your mind tells you that if you just keep chewing on the problem, you'll eventually solve it. But in reality, you're not solving anything. You're just digging the hole deeper. Epictetus called this chaining yourself with impressions, letting every image, memory, or prediction drag you wherever it wants. The problem isn't the world. The problem is that you have forgotten how to hold the chain. You want to stop overthinking. Then the first step is this. Learn to spot the very first spark before the fire takes the room, because overthinking doesn't start as a storm, it starts as a single drop of rain. One question, one worry, one mental replay. That's the moment Epictetus strikes. That's the moment we'll train for. And once you master it, you will never again be dragged into the spiral. The first step is the pause. Epictetus called it examining your impression. Here's how it works. The moment you catch the first drop of rain, that first thought that says, what if this goes wrong? What did they mean by that? Should I have done something different? You stop, not tomorrow, not after you've thought about it for another 10 minutes. Right there. Mid-thought. You treat that thought like a stranger knocking at your door in the middle of the night. You don't let them in automatically. You ask, who are you? What do you want? Most thoughts die right there, because when you drag them into the light, you see what they really are. Fear in disguise, ego craving validation, or just the mind looking for drama because it's bored. Epictetus said, don't just say, I think. Say, I am aware that I am thinking. That's the shift. You step outside the thought, and suddenly, it's not you anymore. It's just a cloud passing through your sky, and clouds can't hurt you. The second step is the cut. This is where most people fail. They spot the thought, but then invite it in for tea. Epictetus didn't negotiate with thoughts that didn't serve him. If it wasn't leading to virtue, action, or peace, it was gone. Here's the rule. If you can't act on it right now, drop it. If it's outside your control, drop it. If it's just the same loop you've run before, drop it. Cutting doesn't mean distracting yourself. It means training your mind like a soldier. You say, not mine, and you move. Physically move. Stand up, walk to the window. Anchor the command into your body so your brain learns the pattern. Thought appears, thought is rejected, action begins. The third step is the replace. Nature hates a vacuum. If you kill a thought, another will rush in to fill the space. So you choose it deliberately. Epictetus would replace fear with duty, replace regret with what's in front of him, replace prediction with preparation. You choose a thought that points forward, not back, not sideways, and you feed it instead. That's how the weeds stop growing, because you've planted something else in their place. You don't tame overthinking by force. You starve it, and these three moves, pause, cut, replace, are the fastest way I know to do it in real time. Let's put this to the test, because philosophy isn't a parlor trick. It's not enough to know the moves, you have to watch them work under pressure. Scenario 1. You send a message to someone, they read it, they don't reply. 2 hours pass. 4 hours. A whole day. You feel the spiral start. Did I say something wrong? Are they upset? Are they ignoring me? Step 1. Pause. Call the thought out. Who are you? Oh, your insecurity, your fear of rejection. You're not reality. You're not fact. Step 2. Cut. Can I act on this? No. Can I control their phone, their mood, their time? No. Not mine. Gone. Step 3. Replace. What's in my control right now? My breathing, my work, my own words. So I send the email I've been avoiding. I finish the page I was writing. And when they reply tomorrow, it's just noise in the background, because I didn't freeze my life waiting for someone else to validate it. Scenario 2. You make a mistake at work. It's small, but it eats at you. You replay it in your mind. What if they think I'm incompetent? What if this ruins my chances? Epictetus would laugh here. He'd say, "You're torturing yourself with a ghost. The mistake is done. The only thing left in your control is how you respond now." Step 1. Pause. Identify the intruder. It's ego. Ego dressed as fear. Step 2. Cut. Can I undo the past? No. Can I correct the mistake or prevent the next one? Yes, that's where I go. Step 3. Replace. Swap the shame with a plan. Not a perfect plan. Just one next action. That's how you turn overthinking into forward motion in under a minute. Scenario 3. The worst of them all. Lying in bed at 1 a.m., staring at the ceiling, and the mind decides now is the perfect time to review every mistake you've made since childhood. Here, the pause feels impossible, because the thoughts are flooding in all at once. But you only need to catch one, grab the loudest one, and drag it into the light. Ask it, who sent you? What's your mission? It usually answers, I'm here to keep you safe. I'm rehearsing danger. Then you remember Epictetus. Rehearsing danger is just living through it twice. Once in your head, once if it actually happens. And half the time, it never happens at all. So you cut. You don't debate. You don't solve. You don't win the argument with yourself. You refuse to show up for it. And you replace. You go back to the breath. You count it, 1, 2, 3, until the storm passes. Here's the truth. Overthinking isn't a mental weakness. It's a habit. And like any habit, it breaks the moment you stop feeding it. The pause starves it of fuel. The cut removes its roots. The replace plants something stronger in its place. Epictetus didn't need a smartphone, a therapist, or a self-help book to do this. Just discipline and the refusal to let thoughts run his life without permission. Let's talk about the machinery behind your mind, because if you understand why overthinking feels so unstoppable, you'll also understand why it can be dismantled like clockwork. Your brain is an efficiency machine. It runs patterns, not individual thoughts. The moment you worry once, it lays down a path, a groove. Worry twice, and the groove gets deeper. 10 times, and you've carved a canyon. Now the thought doesn't need your permission to appear. It's automated. It's running even when you're not looking. Overthinking is just an overtrained neural pathway. That's why it feels like it runs you, because it's firing before you even notice. Epictetus' method, pause, cut, replace, is not mystical. It's mechanical. Each step is a blade scraping the canyon walls smooth, so the thought can't run the same path anymore. Pause breaks the automation. It's like yanking the emergency brake on a runaway train. Cut tells your brain, this is not a priority. You're removing the emotional charge that tells the mind to keep it alive. Replace gives your neurons a new track to run. Without this, you leave a void, and the void will always get filled with whatever your oldest habit is. That's why people who just try not to think end up thinking about it twice as much. You have to swap the habit, not erase it. Now let's make this real. Imagine this. You're in a meeting. Someone challenges your idea in front of everyone. You feel the heat rise in your chest. Old you, the overthinker, would replay this for days. You'd hear their tone. You'd rewrite your comeback 100 times. You'd turn a 30-second event into a 72-hour prison sentence. But stoic you, pause. This is the moment. This is the spiral starting. Cut. I can't control what they said, only my next move. A replace. Let me write down their objection and see if there's value in it later. Right now, we keep going. No mental replay. No emotional hangover, no lost sleep. Overthinking thrives in one environment, a mind that confuses thinking with acting. That's why modern life breeds it. You have infinite time to think and almost no time to act. You scroll, you watch, you analyze, but you rarely move. Epictetus didn't have this problem. His world forced action. If you didn't decide, the decision was made for you. If you didn't move, you got left behind. So if you want to destroy overthinking, you have to reintroduce friction. Make action the default. Make thinking the tool, not the cage. Remember this, overthinking has never saved a life, but decisive action, guided by clear thought, has saved millions. The moment you stop rehearsing pain, you start rehearsing power. And that's when life changes, not because the world is different, but because you finally stopped wasting energy fighting shadows. There will always be moments when your mind tries to drag you back into the pit, when the old grooves start whispering again, what if? And in that moment, you will feel the old urge to pace, to replay, to plan for 1,000 imaginary battles. But you will also remember that none of those battles were ever real. The only fight that was ever worth winning was the one against yourself. Epictetus knew it. He knew the enemy was not the event, not the insult, not the future. The enemy was the mind that could not let go. And he understood something else. Something brutal, but also freeing. Overthinking is not a sign of intelligence. It's a sign of untrained power. Once you learn to aim that power, you stop bleeding energy into nothingness. You stop arguing with ghosts. You stop drowning in the storm and start steering the ship from this day forward. Remember, every time you overthink, you are handing your future to a problem that doesn't exist. Every time you cut it short, you are reclaiming hours, days, years, and one day, maybe sooner than you think, you will look back at a moment that would have destroyed you, and you will feel nothing. No spiral, no sting. Just silence. And that's when you'll realize you've already won. Overthinking thrives in silence, but only the wrong kind of silence. The silence of passivity, the silence of a mind left alone with itself, without discipline, without command. Epictetus had no patience for that kind of mind. He believed your thoughts should serve you like soldiers serve a general, not run wild like thieves in the night. So here's the drill. The next time your mind begins spinning, you don't let it run. You stop. Not tomorrow. Not later. Now. You take the thought and strip it naked. What's the problem? Can I control it? If yes, act. If no, release. No second round. No second guessing. One strike. Done. At first, it will feel impossible. Your mind will rebel. It will beg to keep chewing the same thought like old meat. It will tell you, this is important, this is urgent, that you can't possibly walk away. But you will walk away. Because you are not your thoughts. You are the one giving the orders. And a soldier does not negotiate with the enemy. Over time, something will shift. The thought will come and go, like a wave against stone. And you will realize, this is what freedom feels like. If Epictetus were alive today, he wouldn't be lecturing in some marble courtyard. He'd be standing in the middle of a subway station, or sitting in a coffee shop, watching people scroll their lives away on glowing screens. He'd see the constant twitch, the way hands reach for a phone every time the silence gets heavy, the way the eyes flick to notifications like a prisoner rattling their chains. And he'd understand instantly, overthinking hasn't just survived into the modern age. We've built machines to feed it. Think about it. In the ancient world, you might overthink a single conversation, or the outcome of a battle, or whether the harvest would come in time. Today, you can replay the same 12-second video of someone's Instagram story for hours, dissecting the angle of their smile. You can compare your life to 10,000 strangers before breakfast. You can drown yourself in scenarios that will never happen, in futures you'll never live. Epictetus had a phrase for this. Some things are up to us. Some things are not. You can't control the algorithm. You can't control who texts you back. You can't control the headlines, or the economy, or whether the world decides to love you today. But you can control this. How much of your mind you feed to these ghosts? Modern life runs on a fuel called attention. Everything is engineered to keep you guessing, doubting, refreshing. But Epictetus hands you a weapon sharper than any algorithm, the decision not to play. You stop refreshing, you stop checking, you stop throwing your mind into fires that never burn out. You walk away, and when you do, the machine loses, because you have taken back the only thing it ever wanted, your mind. Overthinking is not harmless. It's not just how you are. It is a predator. It has lived inside you for years, feeding on the moments you never got to live. Every second you've spent replaying a conversation from last week, every hour lost imagining how you'll fail tomorrow. It was there, silent, patient, devouring you. Epictetus knew that the battle for a free mind was never out there. It was always in here. You don't fight overthinking by thinking it through. That's like trying to put out a fire by pouring gasoline. You fight it by drawing a line, a moment in time where you say, this thought is mine, and that thought is not. Every time a useless thought appears, a what if, a worst-case scenario, a memory that has no purpose but to wound you again, you face it like a soldier in the field. You ask one question, is this under my control? If yes, you act. If no, you drop it, like a blade that will only cut you if you hold on. This is the battle, not with the world, not with the people who wronged you, but with the voice that refuses to let you live in the present moment. And here's the truth Epictetus whispered across the centuries. The battle is won the second you refuse to fight on the enemy's ground. Imagine this, you wake up, and the silence is real. Not because the world is quiet, but because your mind is. No endless rehearsal of conversations, no prediction of disasters that will never happen. Just the weightless stillness of the present moment. You stand and the air feels different, not heavier with dread, but lighter, like the first day of spring. Epictetus said, when you are offended at any man's fault, turn to yourself and study your own failings. And when you do, you realize most of your torment was never caused by the world at all. It was created and then fed by you. But now, you stop feeding it. You stop answering the call of thoughts that only want your peace as payment. And without your attention, the noise dies. This isn't the numbness you feared. This is clarity. The energy you once used to relive mistakes is now free. And it begins to build a life in front of you instead of a prison behind you. People notice. You're not fidgeting in your own head anymore. You listen, you speak with weight, you choose your words instead of throwing them out like sparks in a dry forest. And the strange part, you don't miss the noise. You realize it never made you safe. It never made you prepared. It only made you tired. This is what Epictetus meant by freedom, the power to live without being a captive of your own mind. And the moment you taste it, you know you can never go back. There's a point where the storms still come, but they no longer find you. Not because you've hidden, but because you've learned you are not the storm. Epictetus called this the discipline of assent, the art of not giving your mind to thoughts that weaken you. A stranger's insult, just sound. A memory of your past mistake, just an image. The fear of what may come tomorrow, just a shadow of something that doesn't exist yet. And once you see this, you cannot unsee it. The mind tries to bait you back into the old patterns. It whispers, but what if? And you answer, then I'll face it when it comes. And the whisper has nowhere left to go. Now, you walk through life not like a soldier, constantly at war, but like a mountain. Things happen around you, people erupt, events unfold, the world shifts, and you remain. Not untouched, but unshaken. This is not apathy. This is mastery. Because when the mind is no longer your master, you can finally serve something greater, the life that is happening right now. And maybe that's the greatest irony. In your effort to control everything, you missed it all. But in letting go, you finally see.